What is a purchase under 50 you made that has totally changed your life for the better?
Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the Vancher channel. Also, please share your thoughts on this video in the comments. Let's get started.
Story 1. Speaking as a country girl now living in the city, a white noise machine. The sound of crickets chirping or rain is so much more relaxing and comfortable for me to sleep to than traffic and sirens. Also, blackout curtains as I work third shift. Story 2. A pillow. I've reached the age where sleeping wrong or even certain yawns make me feel incapacitated. A better pillow than the cheap ones sold at Walmart has made a big difference. Story 3. Insoles. When you've got a job that has you on your feet all day, you owe it to yourself to get a good pair of shoes and some solid, comfortable insoles. Story 4. A 4-pack of smart plugs. I like to sleep with a fan on. I like the white noise, and I like feeling the breeze on me. But inevitably, morning comes, and it's chilly, and the fan makes me feel like I'm freezing. So I sit under the covers shivering, because getting out of the covers to turn the fan off would mean I'd be even more cold between the time I pulled back the covers and walked over to the fan. So I just sit there and shiver. Last week on a whim, I bought some of those smart plugs. Now I can turn the fan off from my bed using my smartphone. I love it. Story 5. Hear me out. A good trash can. A nice kitchen trash can with foot pedal that works well. Nothing too fancy, just nice to have things you use every day be smooth and functioning. Story 6. A few years into being disabled and being really depressed about not being able to work or earn as much money as I used to, I got a pet crested gecko for $40. It soon had me wrapped around its little sticky toe finger. Basically, I got to know the species, went, "Oh no, it's stupid. I love it." And now I'm a full-time private breeder of New Caledonian gecko species, working on discovering new genetic traits and teaching folks why reptiles aren't all slimy or scary. Some are just derpy little fruit-eating live sock puppets who share a single brain cell amongst the entire species. I love my geckos. 3. They became my passion and are what gets me up each day. Answer. As a herpetologist, seeing lizards on this list has made my entire heart happy. And I love that you became a gecko breeder. This is such a lovely story. I don't have a crestie, but my life-saving lizard is a Savannah monitor that I got for free as a rescue about 10 years ago. He would absolutely die in the wild, and I would probably have died without him. And I'm glad we found each other, and that you have your geckos. Story 7. Burer BR60 Insect Sting and Bite Relief. It's a little gadget that you push up against a mosquito bug bite, press a button, and it gets really hot for a couple seconds. It's more effective at reducing the intensity, size, and itchiness of mosquito bites than literally anything else I've tried. It works because the heat will denature the proteins that cause irritation, and because the heat helps with the swelling inflammation too. The faster you use it after a bite, the more effective it will be. And if you catch it early enough, it can even nearly eliminate the reaction to a bite. But even if you don't use it soon after, it'll help bites feel a lot better for a bit. When I moved across the country, my immune system did not like the mosquitoes in the new area and would react strongly to any bites. It'd get golf ball-sized bites that left bruises for weeks. I avoided going outside for fear of bites, and the bites I did get got in the way of sleeping well or enjoying things. This little 25 gadget is the most life-changing a single purchase has ever been for me. Bites are way less big of a deal for me now. If mosquito bites are really bad for you, I would strongly recommend it. Answer. This is so funny to read. I live in the UK and I have one of these, but it's called a bite away. Anyway, my sister is staying and got bitten tonight, so I told her about how it has changed my life. Before I would get so itchy and being bitten was so stressful. Now I literally don't care. We call it the Sizzler. Edit. Used it on her and she is a convert. Story 8. Maybe not totally changed it for the better, but it's probably my least expensive hobby. I got a copy of the Sibley Guide to Birds for $35 in the year 2000. Sits here on my table next to me right now. Gets used a lot. Bird watching is a hobby you can do almost anywhere you go. Gets you outside. I'm not big into it or anything. Just casual. FWIW, you don't watch the birds. I mean, you do a little, but the fun thing is identify them, finding new ones you've never seen before. identifying the songs and calls, that kind of thing. Typically, you don't carry the book. If the course of your normal day, if you run across a bird that you don't recognize, you make mental notes. Something like it has a gray belly, a tuft, it's the size of a robin, etc. Then later, when you get home, you get the book out and figure out what you just saw. Once you get it, you mark it off your list. It's a little like detective work, puzzle-like. Answer: have you heard of the Merlin app? I think you would really enjoy it. You can take a picture or record their calls and it will try to recognize the bird. You can listen to calls of all types of birds and read about them right in the app. You can save the birds you have seen to a list. Best of all, by doing this, you help the scientists behind it recognize migration patterns, etc. Just wanted to share with a fellow bird enthusiast. Story 9. A journal. My mental health is so much better now that I started writing down my intrusive thoughts. I've still got a long way to go, but being able to make my thoughts tangible has given me much more power over them. Story 10. Teapot. It helped wean me off of sodas and other sugary drinks, and while I do make my tea sweet, I control the amount of sugar I put in. It's saved me lots of money in buying packages drinks, and it's helped my teeth and my weight. Story 11. Back in 2003, a breeder was practically giving away kittens that came out with genetic flaws. We adopted a Russian blue with just a stump of a tail for $25. Best money we ever spent. Smoke was a super intelligent and very loving cat. He ruled the house with an iron paw in a velvet glove, and we loved every square inch of him. In 2021, he developed pancreatic cancer, and we had to help him over the Rainbow Bridge. Sorry, I'm tearing up remembering that day. We miss you, Smoke. Keep St. Peter in line until we can get there and see you again. Story 12. Air purifiers and plants, especially in my home office. The local air quality is not as badly polluted as major cities. Still not great though. But a couple of cheap air purifiers and couple of snake plants made a huge difference to the air quality at home. Definitely worth the purchase. Story 13. Silk pillowcase. Love it and less facial acne. 32-year-old male. It is cold compared to cotton though. Story 14. My reading light. Instead of getting stoned and bringing my laptop to bed with me every night, I now reach for a book. My sleep has been much better. There are still some nights where I go with the former, but not as often as before. Story 15. Average gym goer here. I remember the first pair of Bluetooth, so wireless, in-ears I bought and I loved them. They're not made anymore and I upgraded since then, but man, what a change. Story 16. I was paying my therapist $150 a session to figure out why I believed there were monsters under my bed. She said 10 sessions minimum were necessary. Ouch. I finally told my favorite bartender about my embarrassing problem. He told me to cut the legs off my bed. So my answer is 7 for a saw. Problem solved. Answer. Reminds me of Scott Alexander's anecdote of the hairdryer incident. Basically goes that a woman was experiencing anxiety impacting her life from obsession over whether she unplugged her hairdryer or not. Treatment wasn't working until someone came along and suggested she just unplug it and take it in the car with her to work. Sometimes the simple solutions work better than anything else. Story 17. Not super crazy, but 3M work tunes. You can find them for around $50. Basically just hearing protection with Bluetooth speakers built in. You'll destroy your hearing using earbuds or something while mowing or using machinery. It makes mowing your yard a lot more tolerable. Story 18. 1. A stainless steel tongue scraper. I can't stand not cleaning my tongue when I brush my teeth. I spent $15 on it 10 years ago, and it will outlast me. 2. Massage balls, lacrosse balls. I injured my back several years ago and had chronic lower back pain. I needed to see a PT every week, but once I bought the balls and learned how to manage it myself, free on YouTube, I saved hundreds, if not thousands, in PT sessions. Story 19. I'll die on this hill. Hard-boiled egg steamer from Amazon. 12 eggs. 10 minutes. Perfect HB eggs with far less mess. Story 20. I got cleaning brushes that attach to a drill. It's turned cleaning the tub, showers, and sinks from an awful chore to quick cleaning fun time. Story 21. Packet of microwavable bacon. Let me explain. I met this absolutely beautiful woman at work. Sexy as all hell. Whip smart. Beautiful eyes. Just an all-around knockout. We get to talking and I find out she has 2 dogs, one that she's had for almost 10 years. She tells me she's dumped guys her dog didn't like. It was a throwaway comment during a conversation about, I don't know what. Fast forward a year, she dumped her boyfriend a few months ago, so I ask her out. I get a packet of microwave bacon, cook some up, and put it in a Ziploc in my jacket. When I go to pick her up, on my motorcycle since she wanted a ride, before I get to her door, I rub a little bacon on my left hand. She opens the door. I greet her and the dogs. Both start to sniff and lick my hand. She makes a comment that her dog, the one she's had for 11 years now, has never taken to someone so quickly. She ducks inside to get her purse while I pet the dogs. As soon as she has her back turned, I start feeding the dogs bacon pieces. Now the dogs love me. She comes back. The dogs are still loving on me like I'm some sort of doggy guru. Fast forward 22 years, we just had our 20th anniversary, 2 kids and a bunch of dogs. I've never told her this story, but that packet of microwave bacon was the best investment I ever made. Story 22. I've shared this before elsewhere, but a shoe stretcher. My left foot is just slightly, not even 14 size, larger than my right, and new shoes would always cause pain in that foot, to the point of developing a corn on the pinky toe and walking differently to favor it, causing back pain as well. There are bumps that you can add to give you room on specific areas, which helped with the corn. This only works, I believe, on leather shoes, so MV. Story 23. D. Manos. I got 4 UTIs in the span of 6 months, and as soon as I started taking it, I never had any issues with infections again. Story 24. A simple door gym system costing around 25 times. 3X pull bands of varying resistance. 1X round foamy door anchor. Buckles to link the anchors with the bands. I use it daily, and it's significantly reduced chronic pain from my computer job overwork, especially during COVID. I went from seeing physio, masseuse, PT, and gym membership every fortnight to only the masseuse once a month. Best ROI home exercise equipment targeting exactly the muscle groups that are weakened by modern lifestyle. Edit. I'll add in dumbbells and a yoga mat to complete the home gym setup since it fits within the $50 budget. Not absolutely necessary, but does help your brain associate that part of your room as the exercise zone. Story 25. Cheap Fitbit. And walking more than I have since high school. Used to walk there and back for about 4 miles every day. And I'm tracking my calories. I'm eating healthier and feeling better in years. Story 26. Vegetable seeds. The other stuff cost way more than $50, but there are ways to grow a garden, even if in containers, on a tight budget. It's incredibly satisfying. Story 27. A 5 foam mat for kneeling on the floor or in the yard. Protect your knees. You only have 2 and you will miss them when they're gone. Story 28. Kindle remote. Holding the Kindle makes my hands hurt after a while. I can prop it on a pillow, stay snug under my weighted blanket, and still turn the pages. Story 29. A sleeping mask. I had struggled a lot due to lighting from outside since I was a kid. Purchased this in hostel because problem got worsened, and it really changed my sleep for good. But another thing that made it bad was good headphones. Because of this, I just don't go to sleep. I just keep scrolling and watching content. What helped me was Calm app. Their sleep stories work 100 of the time if I decide to listen one. So buy Calm subscription and sleeping mask, and your life is good. Story 30. Secondhand 30-year-old ELAC standing speakers. They take up some space, but the sound is amazing compared to sound bars, etc. Puts a smile on my face every time I listen to music now. Story 31. My wife's engagement ring. In my defense, we were both struggling for money, and she said herself she didn't want anything stupid, expensive, or flashy because she still wanted to wear it at work without it getting caught on stuff. 40 at Walmart and a trip to the state fair later, she said yes. We just celebrated our first year about 2 weeks ago. Story 32. Quip toothbrush and some flavored toothpaste. I struggle with brushing my teeth and dislike the feeling of hardcore electric brushes. Something about the combo of a soft brush with gentle vibrations and a tasty toothpaste has made it light years easier. Having to life hack executive dysfunction is exhausting. Story 33. My 2 rabbits. They're the reason I haven't offed myself with the shit show everything has been over the past few years. Story 34. Buy the better plastic laundry baskets, the ones which are slightly bean-shaped. They last much longer than the cheaper ones, are conducive to unloading front loaders, store on top of the machines, in my case at least. And it's over 50, but I love my metal kitchen trash can with a lid, foot pedal, removable liner. Story 35. 25 headphones that are inside of a headband, so you can wear them while you sleep. My partner snores and also needs a loud jerk fan in order to sleep. These little Amazon miracle workers are the best thing I've purchased out of all my Amazon purchases, LOL. Story 36. I bought a 12 panini press on Cyber Monday once. Expected it to break within 6 months, but it's been going strong for 6 years now. Sandwiches instantly made awesome. Story 37. My cast iron skillet. It helped motivate me to cook more, which was a huge issue for me as someone who used to order takeout and food delivery way too much. Story 38. As someone with stomach issues, a squatty potty for like 25. My morning movements have become much less uncomfortable. The only downside is going to the bathroom in a home that doesn't have a squatty potty. You get spoiled and it takes a bit longer when you don't have that footrest. Story 39. Silly, but UV gel nail lamp. I enjoyed doing my nails, but between the dry time and how garbage it often looked after just a few days, I did them rarely. $50 for a simple starter kit, and my home manicure is perfect for 2 to 3 weeks. There's zero dry time, and I was able to do extensions at home. Was a lot of fun to learn how to use, and the results are awesome every darn time. Smiley. Answer. I just recently heard doing gel nails at home can be really dangerous. Because if the lamp is not at least 36 watts or the correct wavelength, the acrylates in the polish don't dry properly, and you could develop an acrylate allergy. And acrylates are used in many medical and dental treatments and surgeries and some medications. So be careful. Make sure you know what you're doing. Story 40. 32 for a dog from the Humane Society. Turned out he was a registered Skye Terrier, but because his ears were floppy instead of sticking up, the breeder didn't want to sell him to anyone who shows dogs. I got 17 years with the best buddy of my life. He was smart, funny, cute, protective of our kids, and stubborn as hell. There was once a Skye Terrier who laid on his master's grave for years until he finally died there. That's how loyal and loving they are. That's also how stubborn they are. I'll always miss the dirty looks he'd get when I broke our routine. R.I.P. Scotty. Story 41. Tinder Premium. That was on a whim because I got curious about something in the app. I can't remember exactly what, as it was 7 years ago, but it meant I was no longer locked to my location, and as a sucker for blondes and blue eyes, I checked out Norway. I immediately saw this amazing-looking guy and swiped on him and sent a message. He replied almost immediately. We talked non-stop for the first 48 hours and decided to remove Tinder from our phones. Within a month of meeting online, I traveled to Norway from Brazil to meet him. At that first trip, I had left half my clothes in his house already. A year and a half later, we were married. We are still in our honeymoon phase. Story 42. A hydro flask. Hands down the best money I've ever spent. You can probably use any insulated water bottle canteen. It keeps water cold for ages, and having it around you all the time means you're way more hydrated. I have no idea how I lived before one. You'll meet daily hydration goals with relatively no effort. Heck, I bought a mini fridge to support it all since my main fridge is a story away. And since I went through mineral water like nothing, I live in an area where tap water is not potable. Story 43. Philips Sonicare toothbrush, the cheap one that uses a AAA battery, not the fancy ones that cost $100. The built-in timer has helped me brush way more effectively than I did manually prior. I think this cost me $15 on sale one day. A manual bidet that hooks onto your toilet seat is another one. I think I spent $30 on Amazon. It has saved me so much money on toilet paper, and it's much more hygienic. I'm pretty sure I buy toilet paper once a year now. I've since upgraded to a fancier bidet that has more functions, but the basic one honestly is enough. If you're in the USA, a AAA membership for roadside assistance and towing. It's way cheaper than calling a towing company when you find yourself in a bind. $20 a year. A 30-pet fountain for my cat. My cat used to splash her water dish and make a huge mess. Plus would then end up with no water to drink. She no longer plays with the water in the pet fountain, and she drinks a lot throughout the day. Cats can live long lives when they drink plenty of water, as their kidneys really need it. Another savings in time and vet bills for not having to deal with health issues. Story 44. A fabric shaver. Clothing that looks old with pilling is suddenly able to be rejuvenated, and it's so satisfying to see an immediate difference. Story 45. My beloved dog was 25. He had been returned to the shelter twice. He was so pretty that everyone wanted him, but so neurotic, no one wanted to keep him. He was a Belgian Malinois too, so people always thought I had spent hundreds. We lost him last year, and the pain is still so fresh. Best dog I've ever had. Totally changed my life. I miss him every day. Story 46. Get an air fryer. You will use it every day. So awesome for warming up leftovers as well as cooking anything. Story 47. A kind of microfiber washcloth I found. I use it solely for my face every day in the shower, and over time it seems to have drastically cut down, not completely eliminated, acne issues I've had for a long time. Story 48. Luminosity Ocean Wave Projector 20 has brought me so much happiness. I've even bought them as gifts now twice. Story 49. Moved to a new apartment after splitting with my ex and needed a table. Found a listing on Craigslist for a console table that expands with 3 leaves to seat 10, 50. Picked it up and it has been in use for 18 years. Bonus. Was in an antique shop 3 weeks after getting said table and saw a refinished version for $4,800 without the leaves. 100-year-old American antique for 50. Story 50. A cat litter scoop made of metal. Can't believe I made do with a flimsy plastic one that hurt my hand for over 2 years. Story 51. Picked up a 10-foot-long iPhone charger for $1. Quality was questionable, but it was amazing. I was no longer constrained to right next to the outlet to use my phone. Eventually got a better cable when the old one broke, but made a huge difference. Story 52. I found a thrift store book about the women Air Force service pilots of World War II. The Wasp flew military aircraft, including the latest fighters and bombers, in a variety of non-combat missions. I knew a Wasp many years ago and was always intrigued with them. Reading the book motivated me to get on various forums devoted to the Wasp. I've made a lot of new friends, and my skills in history and genealogy have allowed me to make a real contribution to preserving and honoring the Wasp legacy. All because of a $1 book. Story 53. Okay, this isn't a proper answer, but I once gave a guy down on his luck $25. I just got paid and did it on the spur of the moment. He was struggling, had just reached the end of his rope, and I knew him casually as he lived near me. The joy in his face I will never forget. It meant everything to him in that moment. It made me appreciate my own life and relative good fortune. He got a job the next month doing landscape construction, and no lie, he ended up being very well off with his own company co-owned with his long-lost brother. I like to think that 25 was good karma for all, but it could be just an illusion. It's still one of the best moments in my early life, and I recall it often. Story 54. Compression socks and cervical pillow. The socks helped the vascular veins in my legs. The pillow greatly helped my injured shoulder. Story 55. Toilet bidet attachment. You can find them on Amazon for $50. They are much more cleaner and sanitary than you think, and I use probably 16 the amount of toilet paper I used prior to purchasing and installing my bidet. Please do yourself a favor and get yourself one. Story 56. Wallpaper engine. The day I bought it and applied my first audio-responsive wallpaper, I stared at it playing for like 1 hour. Rhino Shield phone case. Saved my phone from falls that were going to break at 100. Assetto Corsa. I have 300 hours in it, and it's been a joy to play it. Story 57. Earplugs. I need them every time I'm in public and can't wear my headphones or when I am eating with family. Story 58. Using powdered charcoal to work on the light and dark areas of my drawings before drawing details has made a huge improvement in the quality of my drawings. Story 59. A water fountain for my cat who previously refused to drink from anything other than my cup with fresh water from the shower. Edit. My house looked like it was from the movie Signs. Story 60. I got a bird 10 years ago for very cheap from a friend, and he's my best friend in the world. They live about 30 years. He's 11. Story 61. Everyone is going for their top practical products, but man, I gotta put Minecraft there. Easily over 2,000 hours of playtime since early beta, and always comes back around as a fun game. Story 62. Spores, rice, and cocoa coir. The mushrooms have made my anger much easier to stifle, if it even gets up to begin with. Story 63. Signed up for Littler Books recently. I'm learning so much in so little time with their summaries in one file. Story 64. Shower timer. I have a problem with showering way too long. I bought a waterproof shower timer, and ever since I have been showering shorter, which is also good for our water bill. Cost me 20 euros. I know timers on phones exist, but I prefer to see in big numbers how long I have left. Story 65. 40 for a Udemy course on web development. Used it to learn enough to get a job. Been doing it for 5 years now. Granted, I kept learning after the course, but it was enough to work my way into the best job I've ever had. Story 66. Plastic microwave plate cover. Covering things with paper towels is awful. Having a dirty microwave is awful. My microwave stays spotless. I just have to use this cover for 7. Story 67. A neck stretcher. I'm serious too. I have to be on a computer like 8 hours a day, so I get a stiff neck. For the first month, you want to use it every day for about 10 minutes. 1 to 2x day. You will notice no more neck pain and a less stiff neck within about 1.5 weeks. After a month, I went into a maintenance mode where I use it about every 2 days instead of every day. One of the best things I have ever gotten, I swear. Story 68. A light machine for my seasonal affective disorder. My depression gets really bad in the winter due to lack of sunlight. I put it off for years before finally getting one, and it makes such a huge difference. Story 69. Once I started buying condoms, all my worries about pregnancy and infections stopped. I wish school would have taught me how to have safe intimacy. Story 70. I know people will say it's just a fad, but my Stanley Cup. Having a giant mug of water around that stays ice cold all day has completely changed my hydration uptake. I never realized how little water I drank throughout the day until I started carrying that thing around. Story 71. Wireless earbuds. I honestly thought they were pretty stupid when they first came out, but when I finally found a pair for 20, I decided to give them a shot. I ended up loving them and use them all the time. They are the kind with the silicone plug, so while they had great sound, I couldn't hear anything going on around me with them. After a little research, I picked up another pair on Amazon for $12 that doesn't have the plugs and basically looks like AirPods. Love them both and use them for different situations on the daily. Rubber ones are great for mowing the lawn or drowning out annoyances. Plastic ones are perfect for walking around the block or supermarket. I would never listen to as much stuff as I do today had I not got them. And both sound really great despite the low price. Story 72. Wearable personal speakers, which I bought as an alternative to headphones or earbuds. I bought them used for $30, not sure what a new pair costs, and they have immensely improved my life in 2 main ways. My work implemented a policy against walking while using headphones or earbuds, which is understandable from a safety standpoint, but made my life worse because music and podcasts make my time at work much more tolerable. Now I can catch up on podcasts at work while still following the rules. I recently started biking a lot, and I did not feel comfortable limiting my aural awareness with traditional headphones. These things are great for that because I can hear them clearly while also being able to fully hear my surroundings, so I don't have to worry about running into someone, or them running into me, or getting hit by a car or something. I've never had more time to consume all the podcasts, music, and audiobooks I want. I'm thriving. Story 73. Escitalopram. With my insurance, it's under $4 for a month's supply. Help me get out of serious depression. Story 74. I sponsor a poor child in a village in Kenya for $19 a month. Also purchased his village chickens and a goat and sheep. Changed his and their lives for the better, and I feel better for it too. Been 3 years now. Story 75. My cat. Adoption fee was exactly $50. She's a big part of why I get up in the morning, physically and emotionally. Story 76. A bag of meth I bought at an abandoned liquor store for 20 bucks that turned out having PCP in it. Craziest week of my life, maybe, and my kidneys almost failed. But I stopped using substances. Story 77. Wireless mouse, electric toothbrush, nice comfortable underwear, comfortable socks, electric-cheated coaster. Story 78. I now live in an older house without a dishwasher, but I wish I'd gotten these sooner, even when I did have one. Swedish dishcloths. I'm not sure what they're made of, but the 15 six-pack I bought on Amazon 8 months ago are still going strong. They come in cute patterns, can be washed, and even inadvertently dried, so they never get stinky, and they both hold soap better than a sponge and clean up spilled liquids better when squeezed out. They're so much easier to fit into different spaces than dish sponges. When I need extra scrubbing power, I have a brush or steel wool. I got a set with birds on them, never going back to stinky sponges. Story 79. For all those people who voted for bidet, can you post which one you bought? Is the water cold on your butt? How can it be comfortable? How do you dry your butt after using it? I'm fascinated by these things, but can't get my head around it. Story 80. Late to the party, but haven't seen this one. A meat thermometer. Cooking meat was frustrating and I'd overcook everything. Now my whole family wants me to be the meat guy at all barbecues. Story 81. I'm starting to think Fleshlight might be the answer to this one, since realizing my girlfriend is a fudge psychopath. Story 82. A 20.000 mAh power bank. My phone battery is atrocious, but this way I never run out when on the go. Thing also holds for ages. I had to 7 hours train rides recently and used my iPad the entire time to watch movies. Also charged my phone all the time. The thing wasn't even down to 50 after that. Story 83. I took a 2-hour container gardening class at the community college for 48 years ago. Had no real prior knowledge on how to garden. Every year since, we have been blessed with so much fresh produce that we end up giving it away before it goes bad. Story 84. Spray bottle for cooking oil. Coat like $8 to $20. And you can refill instead of wasting money and space on the aerosol cans. Story 85. A heated blanket. Helps reduce heating costs, and it's super cozy. I spend all winter under one. I have one for the living room and my bed. Story 86. Reading glasses. It sucks getting old, but dang, these help so much. Think they were like 12 at Walgreens. Story 87. Happy Po. A mobile bidet. I feel so much cleaner after messy poos. It's a convenient way to freshen up the nethers before after intimacy, and it's a godsend during my period. Story 88. Multi-pack of 10 feet charging cords. Now my bed, desk, chair, and travel bag all have charging cords long enough that I can play on the phone without have to lean closer to the outlet. Story 89. I bought an AeroPress. Something so simple and silly, but seriously darn. I've bought several different types of coffee makers over the years, and none made a big difference, or were more than a novelty. The AeroPress made a huge difference. It completely got rid of the harsh bitterness of even store-bought ground coffee, and the real flavor shines through. I use it every day. I use pre-ground coffee every day for work, and then I use a fancy whole bean coffee for the weekends, when I can sit and enjoy it. Story 90. Recently bought a better shower head, better water pressure, detachable, multiple settings from fine mist to knock you on your jerk. It's been a game changer. Story 91. Swiss Army knife. Like 20. I use it almost daily, from opening stuff and cleaning fruit to accessing all these little covers that break your nails. It has a beer tin opener and a screwdriver as well as a small pair of scissors. It's one of these things that get lost in your pocket or bag, but it's incredibly useful. I also got a small flashlight and attached it with a removable keychain. So yeah, any small multi-tool can make your life a lot easier. Story 92. My electric kettle, my chef's knife, and my scrub daddy. The cost of all three combined was under $50, and I use them all the time. Story 93. Bought and read the book Science Matters. Changed my life. Got a physics and engineering degree and been loving life ever since. Story 94. I think it was exactly $50, but I bought an adapter to refill my SodaStream gas canister from a larger tank. Endless bubbles. extreme hydration. Story 95. An Ethernet cable. Hardwired connection is far superior to Wi-Fi when gaming PC or otherwise. I always knew it would be better, but I never realized how much better. Story 96. A Slurpee. I had a craving for a Slurpee and stopped to get one. There was a cute girl in front of me buying a corn dog. I told my friend, I'm going to marry that chick. Married her. Story 97. One of those toilet seat bidet of Amazon. It's worth every penny and you save money on toilet paper. And if COVID happens again, your rear end is clean. Story 98. A book called Battlefield of the Mind. My old therapist tried for years to teach me how to change my negative thought patterns and could never say more than, you just do. This book taught me how. I was able to finally move on after many years of severe self-injury and severe anorexia, and am now fully recovered. Story 99. A Pi hole. A simple device that connects to my network at the router that blocks all ads for free. Super easy to build from a Raspberry Pi. Took about 30 for the Pi and the case to put it in. Story 100. Password Manager. It's a subscription though. It is refreshing not to think what password to use. What is the current password of my specific account and only have one password to access everything. Story 101. 11 for a 6-foot, nylon-braided charging cable. Apple's cords seem to fray and break even when I treat them gently, but this cord has lasted me years. Story 102. A white noise machine with adjustable pitches. I sleep so much better, not only at home but anywhere I travel. Story 103. Insect repellers. They are devices that you plug in and they emit a high-pitched sound that humans and pets can't hear, but insects can. It's really annoying for the insects and it makes them leave the area. It reduced the amount of annoying flies in my balcony significantly. They work on other insects too. Story 104. A large, soft, high-quality heating pad. We live in a cold coastal spot and in an older home where insulation could be better. So I use it on my WFH desk chair and have saved some very good money on blasting the heater for the whole empty flat. It's also a great comfort for general aches and pains, comforting my child, etc. Story 105. My first month's subscription to Match.com. Met my wife and is hands down the best thing to have ever happened to me. Story 106. A lantern in my bedroom closet. It's not walk-in, but it is very wide and light. From the room doesn't reach either end where there are built-in shelves. I keep footwear, sweatshirts, and jeans on those shelves, and frequently pulled out the wrong items a couple times before getting the exact one I wanted. A 39 camping lantern on the top shelf solved that problem. Story 107. Fender Blues Harmonica. 12 and keeps me company and my lungs in shape. Infinite self-entertainment. Fiancé doesn't love it that much though. Story 108. Butter Bell. I gift it to everyone and have converted bunch of people into getting one if you like soft butter. Story 109. Everything related to sleep quality, such as earbuds, a good pillow, and it's over 50 but still, a good mattress. Invest $2,000 a decade on a good mattress and you'll have so much better sleep and your body will age better when you sleep ergonomically. Story 110. A decent pair of earplugs. Those foam ones everyone thinks of as earplugs are trash. I have a pair of custom molded ones that are amazing, but I also have a pair of these, 20 on Amazon, that are really nice too. I have at least one pair with me at all times. Walk into a loud sports bar with blaring music, in go the earplugs, and because they're good quality ones, you can still hear everything. It's just quieter rather than muffled. Protect your hearing. Story 111. Drop stop gap fillers for my car and truck seats. They have stopped my phone, wallet, keys, food, etc. from falling under my seats at least a few dozen times since I bought and installed them. I've purchased sets for my wife, sister, and niece as well. Story 112. Cord locks. I use them for my hiking boots. Just feed the strings through the lock and tuck the laces in your boots. Story 113. Fishing rod. Cooking fish isn't hard, and having a fish fry 2 days a week slays it. Freeze the rest. Obviously depends where you live. Picking up a 22 for small game is a good idea too. Story 114. The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. I'm still reading it, haven't finished it, but it's changed the way I view weight loss dramatically. Highly suggest giving it a read if you've struggled with losing weight to figure out why you're having such a hard time. Story 115. Hot logic. If you work out of a vehicle and take lunch with you, get one of these. It's a mini hot plate in a soft-sided lunchbox. It plugs into the vehicle. Put your lunch in an hour before you want to eat. Story 116. A bidet. Never felt more cleaner in my life, especially after eating something that upsets my stomach. Story 117. Not even going to look, but I'm sure there is an entire section of putting bidets on a pedestal. If there's one thing I've learned from Reddit, is that it's obsessed with bidets of all things, LOL. Story 118. Catchy. It's a fruit fly eliminate machine. Works so good. Attracts them with a purple light fan, sucks them in to a sticky mat to replace each month. First day, eliminate 50. I'd know they were all in my airspace. I thought it was just one or two that were annoying me. But if you see one, there are hundreds in the drain. Story 119. A milk foamer. I bought one on sale because it had a dent for about 15 euros about 2 years ago. I used it almost every day since, and it just recently stopped working. Now I got a little more expensive one that also does cold foam, and it makes my iced coffees so much more enjoyable. Story 120. Blue light glasses. I work on a computer all day, and they have single-handedly saved the inevitable dry eyes. Story 121. This will probably get lost in here, and I know it sounds crazy, but I bake quite a lot and normally used a spoon to scrape cake mix from the bowl. But I can't tell you how much getting a spatula has changed my baking, and it's so satisfying being able to get everything out of the bowl. XX. Story 122. A bidet. I've had it for 3 years and I still maintain that it's in the top 5 best purchases I've ever made. Story 123. I bought a little portable charger thinking I'd use it on a trip, but it's basically like a wall outlet I walk around with. It just sits in my lap, no problem. Controller suddenly dying, phone suddenly dying, PS Vita suddenly dying, tablet suddenly dying. Then, when I leave for the day, I just toss it on the charger and it's fine when I get home. Story 124. A spray hose bidet. Everyone need to freshen up the downstairs area at least a couple times per day. Story 125. Extra phone and laptop chargers to leave places, office, home office, bedroom, etc., so I do not need to remember to grab my charger. Story 126. Wireless earbuds. Was completely against buying another thing that needed charging, but now I use them constantly and would replace immediately if lost. Story 127. Air fryer, and some are more pricey, but mine was $30 and the best purchase I've ever made. Plus, cleanup is easy. Everyone should have one. Story 128. Thermos water bottle. No more piss warm water on hot summer nights. Don't have to get out of bed to just get a drink. Story 129. Rice cooker. I got one about 3 weeks ago, 20 Amazon, and have used it 6 or 7 times already. Why did I wait so long? Story 130. A lanyard for my keys that I, 1, have gotten used to hanging on the coat rack when I get home, and 2, to put my key in my pocket with the lanyard hanging out of it. It's checkered so it looks kind of stylish. Or loop it on my bag. I have forgotten my key multiple times before I had this system in place, having to pay for an expensive locksmith and have multiple shame spiral panic attacks every time. I've kind of developed this complex about it now where I like feeling the lanyard on my person to feel safe and secure. So I'm not constantly like, do I have my keys? And have to compulsively rummage through my bag. Why I like to have it sticking out my pocket. This simple 2 lanyard has literally saved me hundreds of euros. Sincerely, ADHD personified. Story 131. A safety razor. I started shaving with cartridge razors but got fed up with the heads filling with hair and the cost of replacing them. Then I went through a few electric razors, both foil and rotary, but could never get a close shave. I bought a safety razor a year ago and it was a revelation. Just 1 blade, but it gets so close. It doesn't clog, and 100 blades cost less than a tenner. Story 132. A second set of house keys for when I misplaced the first set. I anyways find the original set, but with a second set available, I can still leave to go somewhere if I'm in a hurry. My car came with 2 keys. If it hadn't, I'd have done this for my car too. Story 133. 5-pack of back scratchers from Amazon, like $8. Led Zeppelin 4 on cassette. Led me into a love of hard rock. Story 134. My cat was a $35 adoption fee at my local, at the time, vet's office. He kept me from committing tragic end, and now he snuggles with me every night. Story 135. I bought a 2-bag of lily bulbs at Aldi. It's been 3 years. They are now grow over 4 feet tall and have about 30 flowers on each plant. Also 2 Aldi rows of Sharon bush. Tripled in size the second year and is absolutely covered in ruffled pink flowers in the summer. Story 136. Ergonomic mouse. The kind you hold like a handshake instead of palm facing down at work. So much nicer for my wrist. Also, a cheap multi-cooker. Like a rice cooker but with a bit more utility. I use that thing to cook all sorts of stuff. Such a time saver. Story 137. I bought a pair of prescription sunglasses from Zenni. I have a few pairs of regular eyeglasses from them as well that ended up more than 50. But this was just the cheapest frames polarized prescription lenses. Total came to 40-something. And it's so much better for my eyesight and safer for me and everyone else on the road. Story 138. An electric pizza maker from Betty Crocker. It's basically a big griddle. Not only is it way more efficient than cooking a frozen pizza in the oven, it is the only way to reheat cold pizza, keeps the crust crispy. And I've made omelets, pancakes, and grilled cheese sandwiches on it. It's made itself essential. Story 139. Squatty potty. It's so uncomfortable to poop anywhere other than my own home now. Considering getting one for my office in my office. Story 140. My cat, her previous owner, was selling her for $30 with all the things we would need for her. Food, bowls, toys, litter box, scratching post, etc. And the cat carrier for an additional $10. I've never regretted adopting her, and I love her very much. Story 141. Upgrade your showered head. So many options and variations. I have a double one with one being detachable. Previously, I have a rainfall one, which is just a large square that is like full body coverage from above. Shoot crazy. Also easier to self-care with. Story 142. A vertical mouse. I broke my wrist in my dominant hand a few years ago and wound up using it to work. I developed arthritis in that wrist and find it easier to work with now than regular mouses. Story 143. An Iron Gym pull-up bar off Amazon. When I got it, I couldn't use it, which pissed me off so much it motivated me to work out every day. I went from barely even being able to hang off of it and weighing 240 pounds to doing 4 sets of 10 pull-ups and weighing 194 pounds. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, and I really like what I see in the mirror, which is not something I've ever experienced before. Story 144. Squatty potty, 14 CDN. Utterly life-changing. I never have to push. There's never a delay. Always get fully empty. And no more felt marker type wipes. It just lets your body do what it was designed to do. And I couldn't be more pleasantly surprised that the stupid plastic mini stool actually made a difference in my daily life. Story 145. I'm sure this will be buried, but my reusable menstrual disc called the Hello Disc. It is incredible. I'll never go back to tampons. Story 146. Rubber dishwashing gloves. I used to let my dishes pile up because I dislike feeling wet food. Now I can do my dishes quickly and my ant problem is gone. Story 147. 2 Nalgene bottles that I've been using for 10 years. They've saved me tons of money. They are virtually indestructible. Story 148. 7. Back scratcher. Lived 30 years before investing in one. Now I have one at my desk, in my car, and bedside. Story 149. An epilator. I dislike shaving, and I despise having stubble all over my legs. I go over my legs and then again about a week later. There are always a few late-growing hairs, and some where the hair broke off at the skin. And then I have 6 to 8 weeks of smooth skin. It takes close to an hour per leg because I move it very slowly. Up, down, at angles. I could go faster but with more broken hairs. It is a bit stingy, but I'm so used to it now it barely registers. I've been using them for over 20 years. It's not for everybody, but I love not having to shave every couple of days. I do still shave my armpits. I've never been brave enough to try it there. I'm very ticklish, so I assume I have lots of extra nerves there. P. Story 150. JBL wireless headphones. No cords getting tangled everywhere. Charging case. Audio is good quality. Long battery life. No huge fees of other wireless headphones. Story 151. Medications for depression and anxiety. Grant you, it's a recurring thing, and I'd be utterly fudged without my fantastic American health insurance. But hey, it's working. Story 152. An instant read meat thermometer. It made cooking meats in any situation much simpler by taking out the guesswork. Story 153. A lacrosse ball. Roll the bottoms of my feet for about 15 seconds per foot before I go to bed, and as soon as I wake up. Almost 10 years now, and has worked wonders for posture, health, and the ability to run. Slow but far. Story 154. Extra duvet for the bed so my wife and I can each have our own. When you're sleeping good, it kind of makes everything in your marriage work that much better. Story 155. It was actually a gift from my MIL, but it was under 50, so whatever. Having Alexa has made me a ridiculously more functional person. I have reminders and timers for everything, and I don't have to open my phone to set them, which can lead me to fall down a rabbit hole for sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes hours. I can put things on my shopping list as soon as I notice they're out. I can actually keep appointments. I can say, a reminder to move laundry from washer to dryer so I don't wash clothes 5 times. Highly recommend. Except it's listening to us all the time, but I for one welcome our robot overlords. Story 156. Full blackout curtains that you stick into the window and corners. I work third shift, and to say that they make the room dark is an understatement. No difference with eyes closed or open. The quality of sleep I'm getting is so much fudge better. Story 157. Several things, all relatively minor, so might not qualify as totally changing my life, but definitely a positive impact. First, a simple carabiner-style key ring. Specifically made for keys, it is a snap loop within a snap loop, so the keys stay inside behind 2 spring-loaded gates. You can clip it on anything quickly, backpack, belt loop, etc. Keeps your keys from getting lost and they don't create a lump in your pocket. I wish I had an Amazon reference for you, but I picked it up on a whim in a hardware store for like 15. It is a simple thing, but helps with comfort every day. Second is a bit over the 50 mark. Just checked that the least expensive version is 76, and that is a Ridge wallet. There are imitations well below 50. I've had a real Ridge for several years now, and again, the comfort difference between a small, simple, front pocket card carrier and a bulky leather bifold, trifold is amazing. It made me rethink what I really need with me. In this case, less is definitely more. Third, 3, completely mismatched, reusable grocery bags. They're actually pretty handy. Being guy, of course, I want to carry everything in one trip. Having just 3 bags with real handle loops makes that far easier than half a dozen or more cheap plastic throwaways. It is both a convenience thing when bringing in the groceries and a declutter measure. I used to have bags stuffed full of bags in the pantry, just in case. No more. My pantry is far better organized and decluttered now. Oh, and it may or may not be better for the environment. Fourth, a multi-port USB charger. Plugs in the wall, has 6 classic USB ports. I have it on the desk in my home office with one of every kind of charging cord I need. Micro USB, the Apple-like cord for the Beats Pro earbud case, the unique cord for the Garmin fitness tracker watch, the Olight magnetic charging cord, a USB-C for my phone, and several lights. No more fumbling around for bricks and cords, always right there. Answer. Second is a bit over the 50 mark. Just check that the least expensive version is 76, and that is a Ridge wallet. There are imitations well below 50. I've had a real Ridge for several years now, and again, the comfort difference between a small, simple front pocket card carrier and a bulky leather bifold trifold is amazing. It made me rethink what I really need with me. In this case, less is definitely more. Unless Ridge has a specific style you want, I highly recommend the knockoffs. As far as I can tell, they are literally the same thing. I got one for $15 almost 5 years ago, and it's been awesome, still holding up. Story 158. Lulu Automatic Toilet Freshener. Total game changer. Nobody would ever use the other poopery spray because they'd either forget or didn't want to touch something on a toilet. Lulu solved that problem. Story 159. AeroPress. Ups your coffee game tremendously. Coffee doesn't have to be bitter and snarky and dislike. It can be smooth and rich and wonderful. And for about 30, your AeroPress will take bad coffee and make it decent. Hello, Folgers. And if you go to a local coffee shop and buy and have them grind fresh beans for you, oh my, coffee can become something amazing. AeroPress. Story 160. A 4-pack of stainless steel sporks. Once you eat salad with a spork, you're never going back to a fork. Good for anything you want to both stab, and that had lots of little pieces too. Team Spork. Story 161. Hori Hori, Japanese gardening knife. Even the most casual gardener would do well to get one. They are much more effective and versatile in the garden than any other tool. Story 162. A rice cooker. These things are not expensive and will save you attention while cooking. And it makes any rice-based meal a lot easier. Just get one. Story 163. An easy grabber. I have trouble bending over due to the effects of being pregnant for the past decade, and I got one so I could reach the ground better. It's literally the difference between cleaning up and not cleaning up. While pregnant and exhausted, I would put a chair in the room and pick up all around me. I'm not pregnant anymore, but cannot squat, so I still use it to reach the ground without feeling like my head will explode. Story 164. As a last-ditch effort, I bought a supplement called Pregnitude for about $30. 1 month later, I was pregnant. The result has cost a lot more than $50, but has certainly changed my life for the better. Story 165. An electronic kettle for my room. It keeps water at what temp you want for hours. Makes life with a baby a lot easier. Can make a bottle at body temp in under 30 seconds. Story 166. Quality Instant Read Food Thermometer. Once you cook to temp, instead of timing, your food gets so much better. Story 167. This is gonna get downvoted to hell probably, but hear me out. YouTube Premium. The light version is like 7 here. I watch a lot of YouTube and having ad-free is so good. Story 168. 32-ounce Yeti cup. Cold water all day, every day, for 6 years at this point. I drink way more water than I used to. It doesn't have to be Yeti. The cheaper alternatives like Arctic are probably just as good. Story 169. I got a special butt pillow for my car seat. I have literally no jerk, not a cake, zero badonkadonk, -1 booty, or what have you, so long drives hurt my butt quite a bit, as does sitting anywhere less cushioned for a long period of time. To my surprise, this 25 gel car seat pillow not only prevents butt pain completely, but I am short, and it also gave me that perfect extra height I needed to see better while driving. Seat is as high as it can go. Story 170. Got an external mouse for WFH for like 11. Best mouse I've ever owned. Steering wheel covers with nice grippy nubs. Been through 4 over the last 20 years or so, each under 10. Bombas socks. Expensive for socks. Easily 6 per pair, but absolutely worth it for walking, hiking, and presumably running, but my knees don't like when I do that anymore. Electric toothbrush. I'll never go back to manual. Finally, for now, LOL, a pizza stone. I got it to reheat leftover pizza, but it makes a huge difference for any kind of baking. Story 171. Motion-detected LED light in my toilet that comes on when I go in there. Not too bright, but makes peeing in the middle of the night nicer. It was like 12 on Amazon, I think. Story 172. A pillow for my car seat to see over the steering wheel when driving. I don't have nearly as much anxiety as before. Story 173. A nice flashlight. Camping. Fixing stuff. Critters. Walks at night. It's LED with different settings and sizes. rechargeable, or batteries. Story 174. A collapsible camping wagon. I live in an apartment. My parking is not very close to my door, and the dumpster is around a corner uphill. I have shoulder and neck problems too. I use the wagon to bring in groceries, 40 pounds bags of dog food, cat litter, and other heavy things, and then use it to take out the trash if it's heavy. It has saved me so much time and pain. I can make one trip in with groceries instead of several, and I don't have to park in front of my building and potentially block someone while I'm unloading. Of course, this only works if you're on the ground floor or have an elevator. For me, it's been one of my best purchasing decisions. I got mine from Academy Sports. I'm in Texas, USA. Story 175. USB desk fan. I used to get so hot while at work or down in my home office, and after buying a nice 31, I never sweat while working anymore. Story 176. A heated electric blanket for winter, 10/10 recommend. A 100 silk sleeping mask, doesn't absorb skincare products applied overnight. A humidifier is especially great for winter, and a tea leaf infuser spoon, perfect for measuring the right amount of loose leaf tea needed to brew. Story 177. An AC adapter with USB holes for the car. I've plugged a heating pad into it for my shoulder and back. Have used a beard trimmer when I haven't shaved at home. Then as well being able to charge all my USB devices. Earbuds, multiple phones, even vape pods. Story 178. My prescription glasses for sure. I did not know I was blind until I put them on. It was like watching a movie in 4K, LOL. Story 179. Silvery, plastic, fake butterflies, construction paper, and those little two-sided sticker backings. I got my mom to make some very pretty fake roses for my room and added in the fake butterflies and fairy lights. I've always liked my room, but now I love it, especially since it's on the side of the house that gets all the sunlight in the morning. Story 180. A water pick. It's amazing how much stuff comes out between your teeth and it feels so good. I will never go back to flossing. Story 181. Bed sheet clips. My bed sheets used to undo themselves every night, but with these clips, they never undo themselves anymore. Story 182. A portable tire inflator. Having one means I don't have to drop everything I'm doing and bring my car to the shop when I see the tire pressure light on the dashboard. Story 183. Bought myself 1. Govee Smart LED bulbs. I started off with just 2 in the living room light. It's so nice being able to link them to Alexa. I can set timers for them to come on, turn off. I can ask Alexa to turn them on when I have hands full of groceries. I now have them in every room, even have them on either side of my garage outside, so I can set the colors for each holiday season. LOL. They're RGB too, so you can set them to whatever color, brightness, etc. you want. 2. Corsair M65 Pro mouse for $35. I liked it so much I bought another one for work. It's nice and wide for my hand and my fingers don't have to be all cramped together. Something someone bought me? A coworker bought me a 3 extendable back scratcher, and it's the best gift I've ever received. Shoot is like magic. Story 184. A satin pillowcase. I get so hot at night and it stays cool to the touch. It also reduces my acne. 15 for a 2-pack. Story 185. Udemy IT video training series and practice exams when they are on sale. The knowledge I gained for them, for less than 50, helped me get into a 6-figure career. Story 186. New shower head with a detachable body spray. IDK how I lived 26 years without power washing my nuts and jerk every day. Story 187. Not Tekken Coley under. 50 for a Nexus Pass. Gives you express access at the border. Had saved me hours of waiting at customs. Must have, assuming you don't have a criminal record. Story 188. Wool dryer balls. It's a small thing, but I have sensitive skin and dryer sheets were irritating my skin bad. I stopped using the dryer sheets, which might have solved the issue by itself, but the wool balls shave about 20 minutes off the dry time, and I don't have issues with static. I bought 6 for under 30 about 2 years ago. No regrets at all. And yes, my skin improved and I have been sleeping better because less itchiness. That's it for this video. Don't forget to support Vancher and my second channel, Vancher. See you soon.